Hello, welcome back to my channel. I have no idea if this is working or not, but hopefully this will work. Uh, I'm trying to check, but there is nobody inside the room, and of course, I never shared about this before, so I have no idea if this will work or not. But I will try my best to share a little bit about this project that I'm working on, the Alien Romulus inspired website. And first of all, I've created this because I think most of these websites, they are not, I would say, engaging enough, and they don't show us all the possibilities for like a website. And as a Alien fanboy, I really enjoy the new movie, especially the new spaceship, the Alien Romulus spaceship. If you did not watch it, the movie yet, I really recommend you do so. And yeah, let's see a little bit of the spaceship model and how everything is organized here. I will try this new format where I just show how the project is actually working instead of rebuilding all of them by like step by step, because that is time consuming and I think will be more valuable to you if I show the structure rather than showing the step by step. But please let me know in the comments what you think about this new format, if it would be helpful, and what you guys think. So first of all, the major piece in this specific scene is of course the spaceship itself and all of the post-processing we have here. So one thing that I want to show you is of course the structure. So everything starts really basic. It is just like the app, the overlay, and the tooltip. So the tooltip, it is this thing here that appears when you hover those meshes, and they are acting like annotations inside the 3D model just to have something to interact. So this is the tooltip component, and it is pretty simple. It is just like a very simple HTML element that it's always following the cursor using a pretty basic React pointer move use layout effect here. So this is what it's happening here, and the CSS, it is the one thing keeping this entire thing overflow hidden in the page, so you don't see scroll bars because this thing is actually huge on size. It is, I guess, 300% of the viewport height. Yeah, it is. It's 500 viewport height, and that's why it is always covering the screen, and because it is overflow hidden, you cannot see that thing in action. So this is the cursor component for the tooltip, and then we also have the overlay. And of course, if I comment this out, everything that is overlay related has gone. So everything that it's HTML overlay will be hidden. So now we only have the 3D scene. So the overlay component, it is the thing creating all of those elements, like the HTML elements we can click and see around. And they, like, all the magic happens in the app.jsx, in this case JS, because I'm not using a Vite. So in what we have here, we have a canvas with all of basic default settings. The only thing that I'm doing differently here is like setting up some parameters to get more performance out of the renderer in the GL object properties for this canvas. And we have all of the scenes. I will be showing all of them, but today we will be focusing on the scene 1, which is the major rendered thing that we can watch on the screen on the left. And in this scene, what we have is like a stars field. So this is a Dray component, pretty simple, already done, easy to use, and it is what is creating that star field in the background. And this is also animated, which is great. So if you want, for example, to change the speed of those stars, As you can see now, they are blinking in a different speed. But for my specific project, I changed some of the properties to make it really like slow. And that's it. Then we have a directional light, and this light is there to fake shadows like we have here. So we have all of those beautiful shadows. Everything here is rendered in real time, so we have no bake. Nothing is baked, and which is great for performance, and also because I'm faking that lens flare. And this is Necto lens flare. This is the lens flare that Nate and I created together about a year ago. This is an optimized version of my lens flare, and Nate helped me to optimize because now the occlusion is happening with an image comparison rather than using a raycaster, which is much better on performance. And we can have like hundreds of instances of the lens flare without losing performance. And I will be releasing this new component soon, hopefully, if I have more time available. And yeah, so the directional light is faking that lens flare. That's why we have the same direction. If I change it here, so you can see, for example, I change direction. So now we have lights coming from, let me over exaggerate this value so you can see. So see, now the light is coming from here, but it doesn't match that thing there. So what I did, I'm faking the same direction from the position of the lens flare to match the light that I'm using here. And then I'm setting the shadow map parameters. And I'm also using like a float component, which is also default on Dre, to make a very slightly movement up and down on the spaceship itself as it is like rotating around the object, which is great. And I created like a particle system here, like an additional one, just to have something floating around the spaceship to create some ambience for this. And we will take a look at this in a minute. Then I'm using the clouds component. I'm being a little bit lazy here, and I'm using the clouds component to fake the nebula effect. So as you can see here, we have some fog, colored fog happening in the background, and I'm just using this to create some, again, colors, because if we remove them, everything will be too dark and colored only by the universe, empty universe. So I'm faking a nebula effect with the clouds component. Again, it is default on Dre. You can use it. It is great. Then I have an environment, and I would say this is a key element of the scene, because this is also contributing for lights and setting up environments correctly in React 3 Fiber and Three.js projects. I would say is most of one of the most important things I do in my work. So for example, if I had to light this entire model only with lights here, as you can see, and this is usually where people stop. They put a directional light and they hope the magic happens and the model will be light and beautiful. But this is not what it's happening, because you need more lights. And what people do, they start adding more and more directional or point or ambient lights, but that thing causes a performance issue, because when you have too many lights on your scene, Three.js needs to recalculate every frame the direction of that light. If you don't turn off lights and like updates and shadow updates, etc. So instead, what I do, I usually use only one directional light, and all of the other light sources, I use an environment map for that. In this specific case, I'm using a sunset one, which is great. It is giving me the results that I want. And one of the last features they added on Three.js and also on React 3 Fiber is the possibility for you to rotate the environment, which is great. So for example, if I put 1 here, you will see immediately how that thing affects the overall light direction on my model. And because I want this to act as a fill light because I already have the main light source, the directional light. That's why I'm rotating with those values. And I did this out of experimentation. The beautiful part of working with React Tree Fiber for me, it is the possibility to change values here and see the results in real time, because that enables me to do like very fine tuning in real time to achieve the kind of results that I want. If I never used React Tree Fiber, when I change this value, I will get a full refresh of the page, and that will not allow me to see the results in real time. And then I need to set up a GUI to change those values and then see the results. But it's very time consuming. So by using React Tree Fiber and an auto reload feature, we can change those values in a very quick and effective way. And then the other thing we have here, of course, is the orbit controls, which I'm also using some settings to avoid like panning. I'm setting a max distance and a min distance because I don't want people to get inside of the spaceship, not yet at least. And yeah, that's the entire scene one component. And if we take a look at the space station model, by the way, this is a Sketchfab free model that I changed on Blender to fit my needs. So this is not exactly the same model. I edited and I added other parts from other spaceships that I found around. But the main model, it is a Sketchfab model, which is great. It is very detailed. It is using the surface, I can't remember the name now, but it's a technique where you can model things without using the smoothness of the model. So it looks great and it's very detailed, but at the same time, it is great on performance because the triangle count is like acceptable. I will not say minimum because as you can see, we have a lot of details here in all of the pieces, but it's acceptable for this project specifically. And it is a pretty basic model. I mean, the model isn't basic, but the component, it is really basic. So what you have here, it is all of the pieces separated, and I'm using refs here just because I wanted to rotate the individual parts. And another key thing that happens, and I want to show you this, it is like usually people give up on the post-processing bloom because what they get is this kind of result. So when the model is exported from Blender, you have a intensity, emissive intensity. So in this model on Blender, those pieces, they are set to be emissive. But if you keep this value to 1, nothing will be shining enough for the post-processing to grab those values and crank up the brightness so we can see this as a blooming effect. And this is what happens. People stop here and they say, okay, this is boring. So see here, because this is directly affected by the light source that I'm using, this one is brightening up a little bit. But a lot of those that are in the darker areas not being lightened up, it is not showing the glowing effect. So what I'm doing here, and you don't even need like a use effect or something. You just grab the material from your mesh here, and then you set immediately a different intensity. And again, because I'm in this React Tree Fiber environment, I can play with those values in real time. So I can go here and say, for example, 100 or 1000. And then we can see the results immediately. Of course, this is not great at all. This is not the results that I expect, but I'm just showing you what you can do with real-time auto refresh as a tool, so you can see the values in real time. And then I just played with those values to achieve the kind of results that I want. And yeah, basically that's it for this scene. I will try to keep our streams small and concise. So if this got like any success, if you like it, and if you like, drop a comment below, let me know what you think about this new format. Please share with your friends. I don't have access to Twitter anymore in Brazil, but if you want to help, please subscribe, keep your comments below, share with your friends, share on Twitter, on your like network, because maybe I will be sharing more videos like this. I hope if this gets any success, I will be showing you guys how we can create this transition between this scene and the watch trailer scene, which is the same too. So if I click here, you see this beautiful transition, and then we enter in the environment inside the spaceship. And I want to show you guys how you can create something like this. And again, here, as you can see, we are using clouds as fog. This is clouds component from Dre, but using as a fog. And then we have this camera on the floor. We can zoom in, zoom out. We have the reflexive floor, and it really looks like we are inside the spaceship. And again, this is a video player. It actually works. If I play here, and you can watch the video trailer.
Is this really where you want to spend the rest?
And yeah, let me know in the comments below if you want me to keep sharing about this project. Please be sure to subscribe so we can keep things updated around here. And yeah, let me know your thoughts. Thank you very much for your time. See you next time.